Hello everyone, it is Joe here from OmniPoke, the channel that brings you guys everything Pokemon. If you're looking for PTCGO codes, including the stuff from Crown Zenith, make sure you check out the Potown store. You can get a 5% discount on your orders using that code OmniPoke. And for today's video, we are going to be looking at kind of the poster boy, really, of Crown Zenith, if there is any. It's going to be this Radiant Eternatus, a really interesting card that has the ability Climactic Gate, allowing us to, when we put Eternatus into play, search our deck immediately for 2 VMAXs and put them directly onto our bench. So we skip the step of having vulnerable 2 prizes sat around our board. We can simply go straight into VMAXs. This does end our turn, of course, but it's a very powerful ability to allow us to cheat a ton of space, but also just make a couple VMAXs just immediately, and ideally we can be swinging on turn 2 if everything goes to plan with this deck. It doesn't happen too often, but it can happen. It does have an attack power beam, but we don't have the energy to use it in this deck. Possibly there are other lists that will take advantage of this attack, because it is actually relevant when you play Mirage Gates. You possibly could be playing Fire Darkness Energy in your list. For a 1 prize like uptrade option into V Pokemon, something to bear in mind there. And yeah, 170 hit points, not too bad on a basic Pokemon. So we are going to be playing the Sky Guys. First of all, the Skyscraper, see what I did there. Duraludon VMAX, 330 hit points with that really frustrating ability, preventing all damage done to this Pokemon by attacks from your opponent's Pokemon that have special energy attached to them. That's going to cover Lugia, that's going to cover Mew to an extent. So definitely a helpful ability here. And the G Max Pulverization for fighting, and 2 metal does 220 and goes through all effects. So it's a really great card to have in here. It shreds, so we don't have to fear any other walling Pokemon. So yeah, really nice. We're playing 3 copies of this with no basic. We are all in on the Radiant Eternatus. So that is going to be our main attacker in the majority of matchups, but in 1 prize basic matchups like Lost Box and Reggie's, we also have 1 copy of Flying Pikachu VMAX in here. We only need 1 copy because ideally we're trying to create a board state where it's just a Flying Pikachu VMAX in play, and ideally it's alongside a Parasol at the same time, so we are simply announcing Max Balloon over and over again, and the opponent has no valid attackers, because the Reggie deck and the majority of Lost Boxes don't have any way of hitting through Flying Pikachu. Even things like Dragonite V, which is a shred attacker, doesn't do enough damage. You can balloon through it a couple of times and you should be pretty safe there. The reason why we can get to a just Pikachu board is because we play Scoop Up Nets to pick up all of our other stuff. It's actually quite important to pick up and bench manage your other Pokemon, because you want to make the prize map as awkward as possible for these decks. Try and make like Lugias and Mews go through double Duraludon VMAX, and just try and have the lone Pikachu board state in other situations. So Scoop Up Net, typically known for being excellent in a Lost Box engine, is even more important in this list, because you oftentimes don't want to be putting things back into play if you can help it. So we are maxing out the copies. It obviously helps us dance with flower selecting. We also play ropes and switches in here in pretty high counts to try and just get the most out of flower selecting, because we are working towards a 7-card loss zone for the Mirage Gate to be our energy acceleration in the deck, allowing us to get 2 different basic energy and attach them to our Pokemon in any way we like. So we have a 2 different energy attack cost in the Duraludon, as well as Pikachu just wants the lightning energy, and then the other stuff doesn't really matter. Whatever you can find to slam on the Pikachu is really helpful here. We are playing an Oranguru as our only other Pokemon. That Primate Wisdom can really help out, allowing us to see extra cards, but most importantly, it can put back either energy or Pokemon pieces into the deck, so that we can either get the max value of Mirage Gate if it's the energy, or so that we're not scuffed by drawing into our VMAXs when we want to Climactic Gate to end our turn. So actually a pretty important card in the deck list. We still play VIP Pass. It can be another way that we can get Eternatus into play if you don't have access to Quick Ball, because you could VIP Pass, then net it up, then put it back down for a Gate play. But also this is just to try and get as many Comfeys out as possible. You still want to go wide in the opening stages, because getting to 7 isn't all that easy without the help of Comfey for the first couple turns. So that's really helpful, and then you're going to try and end up netting them as best you can. We are playing Quick Balls as well to find Eternatus, of course. We are playing 2 copies of Hisuian Heavy Ball, because the only way we get our attackers into play is via our Radiant Pokemon, which is a 1 copy, so having Hisuian to grab this is obviously very important. We're playing one copy of Energy Recycler so that we can get back our energies if one of our Duraludon is knocked out. We can recycle a gate to another one, which is really solid. I'm playing a couple of Pokégear so that we can have extra access to Colress's experiment. We have a very low support account, so these gears helping us find the key card in our deck is really important. Of course, when we're up against things like Mew as well, where the Duraludon is annoying just because it's large, but they can play paths, they can have tablet turns. They also even just have their Max Miracle attack, so they can hit through the Duraludon in a number of different ways. You need to have access to gear and your boss as quickly as possible, because you just want to try and race them as best you can by announcing pulverization 3 times, and ideally that's by using 2 of your Duraludon, so often the gear is helpful for grabbing those boss against the Mew matchup as well. Outside of that, I'm playing Sinnoh and Parasol, a similar defense mechanism that we've seen Goodra pick up. The Parasol obviously very helpful on a flying Pikachu, so you're not getting done in by Sableye Sprinkles or what's it called? The Regi Ice, yeah, from hitting into your Max Balloon, denying that continual balloon approach. The Sinnoh also pretty helpful against the Regis in particular, but also Temple and Parasol trying to protect against the Lugia matchup so that your Duraludon is sitting pretty in the face of amazing rare Yveltal, which can be a huge issue for you otherwise. So that is the list. We are trying to be annoying and wally. Sometimes the opponent just has to concede to our board state, which is what we're ideally looking for in a few instances here. But I think against Mew, probably your hardest matchup, I'd say, would be Mew, because they still have access to dealing with your stuff. So it's a bit of a race against the clock in that regard. And of course, Lugia can try and take cheeky prizes on your Duraludon. We know they play Cologne, we know they play Lost Vacuum now. Typically as 1 counts of each of those cards with the New Age Irida builds. So there are ways around Duraludon. You just want to make sure that they're only having to go through 2 Duras, and hopefully the second one does the trick. So we are starting here. Our hand is actually very slow. We don't have any access to our ball search cards. We don't really have much cycle either, so we're going to need some help from top deck and maybe this flower selecting here. Otherwise, we're in a bit of trouble. Yeah, this really isn't very good for us. Our opponent has Manaphy, which could be an indication that it's a lost box, but also it could still be a Lugia deck. I don't really see what else I can do other than attach and pass here. I like attaching just to give myself the retreat option, but unfortunately, we do only play 6 actual basic Pokemon, so you're really hoping that the 8 Bull Search outs that we play, the VIPs and the Quicks, get you somewhere, but it hasn't in this case, so we'll see. I guess we also have 2 Hisuian, which can sometimes help out now that I'm being reminded of it by our opponent's one. Our opponent gets nothing off Hisuian. Uh-oh, it's a lost box, so if they can get to... Okay, it looks like they aren't going to have an easy way to get to 4 here, because their first supporter is actually Birdkeeper, which is a real relief for us. We have another turn to possibly get going here, but this is definitely a lone Pika board state is kind of our end game goal here. Typically the best thing we can do. So we'll see. Our opponent is benching a lot of stuff that doesn't look that scary just yet. No access to Comfey at all. So that's a real big break for us. Let's fire off Colress first. See what we're looking at. I don't need Duraludon much at all, so we can just get rid of these quite happily. I also don't really care about the Sinnoh in this matchup specifically, because they're not going to be a path deck, so we don't have to worry about like protecting our Eternatus option. Let's play this. Scoop Up Net's pretty solid here. I think we just waste our energy. I think that's fine, because I just want to dance these Comfeys more. Quick Ball is looking good for our Eternatus play. We can toss the Sinnoh again. So we prized Flying Pikachu VMAX, which is a big risk of our deck, because that is the card we need in this matchup, and Hisuian can't get Flying Pikachu. So that's really unfortunate. I don't think we really have a win condition against them, I'm going to be honest. Pikachu is entirely our win condition, so it's about us hanging in there for as long as possible here. Which is a bit of a yikes. I probably have to use Duraludon to take prizes, and then have to pick up Eternatus again, but I've already just used a ton of my nets. This is a tricky one. I don't know how I'm going to be able to win this game now that our one-of is prized. It is a risk. It's a 10%er. Yeah, we have coverage for Eternatus being in the prizes, but nothing else. I guess I just have to do this and make one Duraludon. And end our turn there. Possibly, because our opponent's start was so slow, we have time to maybe pulverize our way through. But that's still pretty hopium, right? Oh dear. You could play 2 Flying Peaks, but you only ever want to put 1 into play, so it makes no sense to really play 2. It's literally just the 10% prizing in a matchup that you probably face 10% of the time. Maybe 15%, so... It's like, of the games you need the Pikachu that has to be priced at the wrong time. It's pretty low odds for it to happen. Meanwhile, our opponent's getting some Colress and Selects finally underway. Eternatus is a pretty big bloke. Don't mind him coming up into the active. Is the hand really that poor? Looks like it. Okay. Right. Let's play the Colress. We hit Gates, which is looking pretty good. I've drawn into a lot of my energies. How other fighting's in the deck? Okay. Well, we can at least make a start here. The Parasol was maybe wrong here, because if I do actually hit my Pikachu, I want to Parasol that immediately as well. Plus we know they're looking for this play anyway next turn, or this turn I should say. But maybe it's still hard for them to get to 7. We will see a Colress though. Oh, it was all going so well until we prized the Pika. They've got to be looking for a retaliate attack here. They need one more. This select gets them to 7, so they can start unleashing their gates. Yep. Okay. Interesting. Did they miss sequence? Were they meant to cycle energy back in before the gates? Probably. Let's just pretend that the Duraludon that I made was a flying Pikachu and they had no answer to it. Because that's the whole idea of the deck. Just don't prize it in the matchup it's good. The 2 matchups it's good, I guess. Just another content. Let's try and move past it and find another game. At least you got to see the deck in action, right? You got to see me make the guy with Eternatus. You get to go first again, always nice. Another bit of a dud hand, that's got to go. Alright, this is a pretty solid one. Double Comfey. Not a bad start at all. We definitely like Quick Ball. I think I just keep everything in hand. The gear can go. And I suppose I just discard the rope here. Now, Dunsparce is never going to be in Lost Box or Reggie's, so we definitely keep the Pikachu at home this time around. And we get two of the big men. Pretty much an ideal turn one for us. We got a couple things in the zone. I'm holding on to Colress. And we got the Eternatus play off. The money is a bit of a shame because we had the Colress banked and some Switch cards, but what can you do? We have to assume this is Lugia, right? Temples are very good against Lugia, as are our Parasols. Those are the kind of the big cards we need to hit. Bosses are also really important. If I can boss up an Archeops before they attempt their amazing rare Yveltal play, I can try and block that play from at least coming down in one turn. They have to risk a turn of Yveltal being on the board, which could allow us to gust again. Alright, they do get an Archeops in the bin and they get a Lugia rolling. Let's start with the Chorus. So nets are very important to us. I already have two Temples in hand, so I think I can play like this. The biggest reason why we want to start netting stuff up is because we're terrified that Stoutland can just take the easy prize map against us. This puts us to 2, 4, 5. So we definitely net 1. Get to 6. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Is it worth me putting another Comfey down for a turn? I still have access to 3 nets. Should be fine. To just keep cycling here. I think I put a fighting in the bin. We take Parasol. Pretty happy to proactively play it. I don't mind the Temple either because they have no energy attachment, so this could also buy us a turn of them not hitting with a Lugia, which is nice. We can also play the gate here. End on the Dura being pretty well set up. Thin the deck. And see how they go. See Le Mignon. Right, 2 Marnie and a Roxanne down, so it means we're probably keeping our hand for the remainder of the game. We get into a couple of big cards as well. Our second Parasol and an energy attachment is massive. Rope obviously also helpful. Okay, they do end up getting into the V-Star. I doubt they can afford to Archeops for 1 though, so I guess they just pass here. Yeah. Alright, Net is very good as well. Gate is very good. This Marnie's worked out great for us. Now we have 2 big daddies ready to go. Rope was definitely reasonable here, but it's not too big of a deal. I want to keep the flexible option around rather than give them time. Like if they want to do random trapping plays, it would work if I had played the rope for the extra tempo. Looks like they just got into a dud hand as well. But you can see double Dura, double Parasol, especially if I can start netting up my easy prizes. Should be difficult for them. Like, they do have two ways to deal with two Duras. They need to have a belt, quad powerful Cologne turn, and then they need to have the vacuum stadium bounce Yveltal turn. It's like two monster turns they need to construct. But that's how, in theory, they could beat our board. But they were just in a bad hand by the looks of things. Alright. Our opponents don't know what they're playing. Grass Energy and Clara. I don't know. We don't like seeing basic energy, though. That's for sure. Oh, is it the Cherrim Snorlax deck, perhaps? Well, Flying Peak should be pretty good against that. Suppose I'll attach and pass here. Yeah, not sure if the Cherrim lacks as an answer to a Flying P other than attacking with Cherrims. That'll be quite a long slog for them. He does 70. Of course, we have drawn into our Flying P, so we do need to draw into Guru. I think I'm going to do weird sequencing here. I think I'm going to gear first, because I don't want to Colress into more supporters. Okay, it's a shame we get a whiff there. But now we Colress. We'll take this. Unfortunately, I can't just go Rad E-turn straight away. I need to keep the Quick Ball open. We definitely try and only make a solo Pika this game, so I can play like that. I'm going to retreat. Take this. I suppose we're making Guru first. I could draw into Quick Ball or Eternatus. It's always possible. Alright, we'll just... I suppose I should play Temple, right? Just try and be alive for a turn. And pass. Alright. The Cherrim is online, so they can start revving up the lax. They immediately have the Stadium Bounce, so they are going to be thumping this turn. If they thump Guru, we do just lose, but they don't. Okay, okay, good. Alright. He woke up. No shot. Alright. Let's Colress. Still no help just yet. I suppose I should do this to try and be alive for a turn. I'm going to try again. Nice. That's exactly what you want to see. Alright, the win condition has appeared. Let's see how it goes. See how they can thump the Flying P. How many nets have I played? I've played 1 net so far. I'm definitely a little afraid of them getting a proactive boss hit on us. It's going to be a Clara, though. Interesting. See a quick ball. So I should probably actually be bossing Cherrims, right? They are the threat. They are the things that hit us. It's probably why they went Clara. They're realizing they have to hit us for 70 a lot. Just the pass, okay. We're going to just play our gate. I'm pretty sure I want a flower select. Yeah, they just concede. We get there. Insane. Funny. I mean, we just have to think of it like it was a Lost Box matchup, right? Like, yes, they could hit us with Cherrims, but I'd probably boss KO 1 that turn. And then they have 2 Cherrims to try and beat us. I suppose they could make more Claras, but we bop Cherrim every turn and they just hit us for 70. I think we're chilling. We've had some dumb games so far. We have bested some pretty bricky decks so far. The Flying Peak's shown its worth, and so has the Duraludon, so that's good. Alright, this hand's not too bad actually. We have the VIP. I can at least get 1 Comfey in. If I want to, I can get Eternatus immediately and just net it up as well. Skystone and basic water and fighting energy. Is this another type of Lost Box? Yeah, it looks like it is. Okay. Let's start off with Wisdom into the VIP. So the risk of only getting 1 Comfey out early is that I may not be able to get to the gate zone in time with a hand this bad, so I don't think I actually take the Eternatus just yet. It's not actually like that important for me to Eternatus turn 1 as it is to get towards gate land. Okay, that's fine. I'm being a little cautious on nets. Could have seen an extra, I suppose. Is there a reason to play Temple? No, I can bounce whatever they play instead. The rope's quite annoying for them, though. They definitely should only put 1 basic down turn 1, right? They're going second. They always should only start Comfey here, because otherwise... Like, now they're getting griefed by the rope so hard. They could have just ballooned a Comfey, but instead they haven't. So it looks like they're playing a V-based build with Skyseal Stone. I'm basically hoping it just clogs them up and slows them down. They have less room for pivot options if they play the plethora of Vs. They do fly out the gate with a Colress, though. plan's really not too different. I'll actually get rid of the Sky Seal Stone. Alright, alright. They're going to be able to get the hit in. They're at 4. They have Rope. I don't mind Guru here. What the heck? What is this? Okay. All right. Let's Colress. Pretty sure it's just these. Play the selecting game, I suppose. That gets us to 6. That's 7. But we need to find the Eternatus still. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I had to pay a lot of nets as well here, which is a shame. Oh, we actually hit the Eternatus. Okay. Well, the plan is on. The plan is up and running. We've used 2 nets in the process. Like I said, the end goal is always to go lone flying peak, because this list definitely, the one we're up against, will play Raikou V, right? Because they've already revealed Sky Seal Stone. And Raikou hits us for weakness, so we have to be pretty on guard for that. So cycling will still be a big part of our game plan here. Alright, we'll see a gate from them, so they're going to go Greninja, try and get some damage in. Alright, Training Court's going to get them their turn attach. They are playing some crazy V Pokemon. Hisuian going to grab Sableye, that sounds like a plan. We still need to find our Parasol too, I suppose. There's a lot we're still digging for here. We actually did go double Comfey just to hurt our push potential. Not a bad plan, but it does make us... It forces us to have a lot less to actually go lone Flying P here. And I also really like trying to knock out this Greninja here to deny their draw as best I can. Oh, that's one net. Uh-oh. This is looking pretty spicy. I'm going to play a gate. Then we can Colress. Parasol, very good. I want to draw towards the other net. I don't want to give him access to Training Court either because there's a lightning in the bin, so I'm probably bouncing the stadium. I don't net one Mon because then it gives them net like rope. I need to force the rope boss. So we did this, we did this, we did this, we take the KO. Knowing that we need to just find one more net to be in the clear, really. We are in a vulnerable state still. Because they can, in theory, go rope, boss, gate, hit with Raikou, V. Getting rid of Echoing Horn is very good for us because we are trying to go solo. I'm gonna keep dancing. The hand size is pretty massive. Alright, let's see what they're gonna try and pull out here. An unknown, okay. They have all sorts going on. Probably a rod, that seems pretty good for us. Into the Colress. Oh, they played Temple as well. This list is pretty wacky. They're playing Horn and Temple. They're really getting low in the deck now. Five cards left in deck. They're still cycling. They've already played Colress this turn, so they can't do the full combo this turn no matter what. Okay. Looking good so far. Alright, just the pass. Let's play the Colress. Do we hit the net? We do. So, especially with the Echoing Horn in their loss zone now, I think, by Jove, we've done it. And that should be game in 4 turns. I think the only way we lose now is if they have Vacuum and can sprinkle enough in time with Sableye. But no, it's just game. Okay. Well, some wacky games. We saw Flying Pikachu pulling its weight against some Lost Boxes. It still feels vulnerable, though, don't get me wrong, because you still need to find those Scoop Up Nets. There's a reason to play Sky Seal Stone in this deck to help you get cards like that, but it blocks your Parasol, and Parasol wants to be in both your VMAXs, like, almost always, so I don't really think that's the right move. There could be some other cards that come into the list, like Trekking Shoes, just to cycle through the deck faster. Possibly Pokestop versus Sinnoh as a debate as well. It means that it should be easier for the Lugias to find that out against you, because they just need to bounce one thing rather than both on the same turn. So I'm fairly happy with the list. I still think it's kind of gimmicky, but it's actually not that bad into some of the top decks. I think you're very vulnerable against Mew. And I think, yeah, like Lugia, how it's built right now, the Irida build should have ways to beat 2 Duraludon VMAXs. They just have to use their resources correctly. So I still think this is going to be like a low tier sort of fun deck, but it creates board states that just says I win, and that's always like quite a nice feeling. So let me know your thoughts on the Fly Guys Radiant Eternatus build. I'm going to try and build more around this card because I think there's so much like potential here. So let me know your thoughts down below, and I'll see you in another video tomorrow. Cheers.